Welcome, Dynamites, to your first elimination. Well, this is certainly a strange sight.
Oh, for sure.
It's so weird seeing all of us like at once. I didn't realize how our numbers had dwindled.
Yeah.
Joy in your faces. Hold on to this moment. Breathe it in. Get in touch with it. We're gonna get to some dirty biz tonight. All right. This is your first elimination, Dynamites. Some heavy stuff in the air. And as we know, you will be eliminating 2 of your team members tonight. So the way that this works is we're just going to have a little chat. All right, we are going to go straight over to Camille. We're going to start with you first tonight, Camille. First of all, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm okay, you know. I am surviving this hellscape that we live in. One day at a time.
As one does.
So tell me about what it's like being a freshman in this group. I know you have some other first year contestants on your team, some other folks in your major. So talk to me about how that's been.
It's nice to have people in my major, but I will say it's like intimidating reaching out to the upperclassmen. And it's a little nerve-wracking. It's like, well, these people know each other, but they don't really know me. So that's been a bit scary because I'm not someone who like outwardly goes and approaches people. I need to work on that, but it's been rough.
Yeah. You know what, though? You've always had a very positive demeanor. You're a very smiley person, which I think probably makes it easier for your contestants to approach you. So that can't be a bad thing. Well, great. Welcome to TTS. Rich, we're going to come over to you next. So, Rich, correct me if I'm wrong, but I've gotten the impression over the past 4 weeks or so that you're a pretty competitive person. So, tell me how it felt to lose for the first time this week.
It sucks, Antonio. You are right in that impression of me. I am a very competitive person and I do not like to lose. But here we are, and I'm going to take it like a champ, and we're here. Well, we'll do what we can.
Yeah, I mean, this was always part of the game from day one. You know, everyone knows that's what happens. You vote people off. It's never easy. But, you know, good for you. Like milk for your bones, right? It's calcium. It's calcium for your soul. It'll harden you. Okay, great. Grace, we're going to go over to you, Grace.
Hi.
So you seem to be pretty chill in general in the challenges. I know that oftentimes you say things like, I'm so nervous. Oh my gosh, this is crazy. But yet you still emanate a sense of calm. So talk to me about how that was doing the wall sits. Like, you seemed pretty chill even though you were doing a lengthy wall sit.
Yes. Okay. So I played soccer for 12 years. And our punishment was always prisoner squats, which was kind of like a wall sit, but without the wall, or wall sits. But I hadn't done it in a long time. And then I think I kind of felt this like I was nervous about the time length I think that's what stressed me out most, because like I mentioned that in the episode how like last year I had to do a wall sit for a class challenge and I made it 8 minutes and I still was like the 3rd longest person in my class. So I was like, oh, I can do an 8-minute wall sit still. That's crazy. And then you were like, try 20. And I was like, bold to say the least. But I was surprised. I still made it pretty farther than 8 minutes, that's for sure. And so I think I was doubting my abilities in here. But then as we were going in, I was like, wait a minute. It's okay. Which happens to me a lot, where I doubt everything up here and then it actually happens. And I'm like, oh my God, anxiety. Why would you do that?
Yep, that's what it'll do, right? You like want to throw yourself out the window, and then the moment that it begins, you're like, eh. So, moving on down to Emily Weems.
Hello.
So, obviously, you know, you put up quite quite the challenge. A couple nights ago on our challenge night, you were one of the last two contestants remaining, up against Brett from Team Red Scare. So I have a question. Well, two questions. First of all, generally, how was it? And second of all, if the possibility of winning had still been on the table, do you think you could have lasted longer?
Ooh. Well, to answer the first question, it was awful. I'm not an athletic person. I don't really work out. I love to just sit in my room and scroll on Twitter. But I don't know. I guess it was just the feeling like I saw like my team members dropping. Like I told my roommate right before, I was like, I'm not gonna even make it past the first round of like the first 5 minutes. Like I'm gonna let my team down. And then as we were doing it, like my legs started shaking almost right off the bat. And I was like, this is not good. But I kept seeing people leave, and I was like, I think it's on me. I think I'm the one. I think I have to do this. So I just kind of stepped it up and really surprised myself. And if it really was, up against me and Brett, I don't know. Brett was inching his way up the wall. I think I could have done it. I think I could have.
I gotta say, Emily, as someone who was one of the judges of that challenge, I was probably one more warning away from knocking Brett out. You were right. He was having a hard time. I mean, who knows at this point if you could have outlasted, but I think that's a bold theory. All right, now we're going to move over to Lilly. So Lilly, I want to talk to you about the incredible team spirit that you display every week with your blue lighting. So I'm curious, did the blue lighting exist pre-TTS Survivor, or did you procure said blue lighting once you found out you were on the blue team?
Well, okay. It's one of those like TikToker like changing lights sort of type deals. Which like, I take pride in myself of being like a little bit different than most people, which is I guess something conceited to say. But I also let myself do things that are fun, and I think these lights are incredibly fun. But I turned them blue because first of all, team spirit. And second of all, I don't really own any blue shirts. Like, I don't know if anyone's noticed, but I've worn the same. I don't know if it's the same shirt, but like I have like a few blue shirts. Growing up, like my school code was we had to wear blue or white shirts, like solid blue or white shirts. So once I graduated, I kind of had a streak of being a rebel, and I just got rid of all my blue shirts.
You know what, though? You also happen to be the only person with blue mood lighting, so there you go. Seems like your effort to be a little different has paid off. And also, no, that doesn't make you conceited. Like, that's great.
Thank you.
Own it.
I guess Brady has them too.
I am seeing that now. I have not seen those yet.
They're out of frame.
Speaking of Brady, so Brady, I have to ask you. So there is a trend that I have spotted in your confessional videos. Talk to me about how you came to the decision to create a sort of world that your confessionals live in.
Okay.
Well, that's a great question, Antonio. Thank you so much for asking. You see, this world that I created in my confessionals is a world of entertainment and purity. And the fact is, I must confess, no pun intended, that I'm not really talking to anybody in the start of it. It's always, hey, didn't see you there. I did see it there. That part is planned.
Hey, look, you know what? We live in the age of social media. You got to make your brand. And
True.
You have created a brand for yourself, Brady.
Thank you. I'm glad I can be original and contribute something new.
Thank you, good sir. And then lastly, before we get into the tough part, I'm going to bring it over to you, Kate. So I'm curious, as our audience, as we've told our audience before, we use Slack. So there are contestant and team communications that happen outside of the view of the audience. So I'm curious, Kate, as this is your first elimination, did you have a plan ahead of time, ready for elimination? Have you been forging alliances, or was this all brand new and caught you off guard?
honestly, I figured it was about time. I gotta admit, when we lost, I was like, okay, statistically, this was bound to happen. So I was kind of just like, okay, like, vibe. And I don't know. I'm kind of just winging it, really, because it's like, what? There's only so much left to do. And, like, I'm not just gonna be like, and fucking like be all like mischievous about it. I'm kind of just vibing, man. I just thought it was so funny, everyone's face just dropping when you're like, oh yeah, you guys are going to elimination too. I was like, we may lose, but like you still gotta go to elimination. So it's just kind of like humorous, and I've kind of just been like, whatever.
Ooh,
Vibing.
savage, Kate. It was humorous to see the downtrodden, crestfallen looks of your.
They were so happy. They were so excited, like shrieking, and then all of a sudden, I was like, oh no.
Yeah. Well, you know, Kate, we'll see if you are singing the same tune in about 10 minutes.
We will.
All right, gang. So that brings us to the end of the fun part and to the difficult part of the night. As you are aware, because you lost this week's challenge, you were tasked with voting out 2 of your teammates. So, as I call out the name of each contestant, you will private message me in the Zoom chat the 2 names of the contestants that you feel should be eliminated tonight. Here we go. First up, we have Camille. Next up, Grace. Next up, Emily. Then we have Lilly, Kate, Rich, and finally, Brady. All right, y'all. Dynamites, as you have won in previous weeks, I'm going to ask if anyone has an immunity item that they would like to play before the votes are cast. I'll give you a moment. If you do, you private message me in the Zoom. All right. Votes are in, and these are the results. We have 1 vote for Brady. We have 1 vote for Grace. We have another vote for Brady. We have a vote for Lilly. Another vote for Lilly. Another vote for Brady. Another vote for Grace. Another vote for Lilly. Lilly. Grace. Brady. Brady. And a final vote for Lilly. This brings our vote totals to 4 for Grace, 5 for Brady, and 7 for Lilly. Lilly, I'm so sorry to say, Brady, I am so sorry to say, but you have both received the 2 highest vote totals from your team tonight in your elimination, which means you have been eliminated from the Dynamites on TTS Survivor 2020. I have to say, this is your first time to elimination. I know it was a particularly difficult elimination, but you both were amazing competitors. Lilly, we will always remember your blue light. Brady, thank you for your bathroom confessionals, which I will miss. Yeah, is there anything that either of you want to say before you leave the Dynamites?
I just want to say thank you for this like weird and unconventional introduction to the people at the theater school. I was really worried about this year. Like and just like meeting people that weren't like, you know, in my major, like, and stuff like that. So I just want to say thank you for that. Thank you for everyone who was involved. And I had a good time while it lasted, and I'm sorry that like things are ending the way they are. And I will be watching from the sidelines and cheering you guys on. And sad to say that there's going to be no people with blue lights.
Love you,
Our
Lily.
lit folk. Thank you very much, Lily. Thank you. Brady?
I guess as just my final words, what a team. We have pulled through and won a bunch, and we lost our first round, but you guys are gonna make it through. I'm proud. Blue Dynamites go strong. And you know, maybe do we still do confessionals for this?
Yes. You will all send, please all send a confessional after the episode is over for sure.
I can't, great, because then I can't wait to make one last confessional in that bathroom.
Good Lord.
Brady,
I
can
can't
I
either,
say
Brady.
something?
You can.
We forgive you for not being able to name all of those female playwrights. We forgive you. You had an excellent, very well-spoken apology, and for that I applaud you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I like spent an hour after that rehearsal just writing it like, But yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
All right. Lily and Brady, thank you so much for being on Survivor TTS. You may now leave the Zoom.
Bye.
All right. We are down to 5 contestants left on the Dynamites. That was incredibly difficult. I know that was your first elimination. It is not enjoyable. I will remind you, it is a game. No one is being voted out of TTS, but it is fun. And
Scholarship drop.
people have to stop having fun. So, that brings us to the end. Well, I should say that brings us to intermission of this week's elimination. Hey guys, hi. So I'm just gonna say it right out of the gate. It really stinks that you guys are here. You won. You know, if it were up to me, you wouldn't be here. But that is the name of the game. And as you know, there's only so many weeks in the quarter, and a lot of you folks left. So here we are. So you know how it works. Let's get down to business. Christian, I'm going to come over to you first. So I'm curious, you are now 2 weeks into a new team, and I'm wondering, have you been welcomed in by anyone? How do you feel? Do you feel like you are incorporated into Red Scare yet? How has that been? How has the acclimation gone?
Well, it did take me a while to adjust, to be honest. It was just really weird at first, but I really do feel like I've been welcomed into the team. I'm really happy to be here, and I want to win. And it's disappointing to be here after our first win.
Very disappointing, I would agree. Well, then I'm going to come over to Jordan. Similar kind of question. You know, our audience knows that we have behind-the-scenes interactions between contestants that they're not privy to. So, what about you? Have you made any relationships with any team members yet? How is it going?
It's going well. I think, you know, it's difficult to be put in the position of you're thrown into this, but then also too, this team was thrown me and Christian, 2 people who they haven't met before. So they were kind of, it's a mutual kind of, how do we build trust? And it's so difficult to do that. And so I hope that through, you know, my performance in this latest challenge, in which, you know, we won, not saying it was just me, it was the team, we won because of that. And so I think that, I hope that that can build some trust. And I hope that, you know, people, like, just talking to people can build some trust. You do the best that you can. And I think I agree with Christian.
Yep. Yep. You do the best that you can. So, I'm gonna bring it over to you, Mr. Matthew Schwartz.
Hey!
So I have to say, I know I saw your confessional after the challenge this week. More importantly, I saw your elimination after last week's, or excuse me, your confessional after
I
last.
eliminated? Oh my god.
And it seems like last week you had a particularly difficult time. I believe that you said that, you know, survivors are often asked what is their proudest moment and the moment that they're the least proud of. And you said that you felt like voting out Danny last week would go down as the moment that you were the least proud of. So can you talk to me about that?
Well, I think that I really said my piece before the elimination even happened, that I do not believe that we were voting for the worst player. I do not believe that my vote cast was an indication of at all who deserved to go home. And that's why it was so painful. We had such an amazing, talented, funny, important person on our team, Danny, and that's why I gave him a shout out when we won, because for me, it did feel like it was also for him. Because, you know, Red Scare all the way. I feel like we didn't deserve to have to send someone home, and it really sucked that the chips fell that way. And I said that piece too, that what was so hurtful was that I knew that I was making a choice of someone who I did not believe deserved to go home, but I also knew had to because of the nature of the game. And go home. I'm home right now. Hey. Just realized that I keep saying that from my house. So anyway, get kicked out of the game. Maybe I should start saying that. So, I mean, that's what I said, and I meant it, and that's why it hurts so much, is because I really feel like I want the end of Survivor to be the strongest, smartest, best players at the very end. And as we've kept losing, whether it be by fluke or by a legitimate reason, like it kind of felt like with Password felt like we literally lost, and that just was what it was. We ended up having to send someone home who I believed actually could have made it a lot farther and done a lot more good in this game. So it was really disappointed for me.
Yeah, fair enough. I think that any audience member that was looking at the challenges objectively would agree. Danny
and my family was, let me just say, when I told my family who we had to send home, they were like, how dare you send home our favorite? And so I told Danny this too. Sorry, everyone else. I was like, that's the way the game is. You better find a new favorite. So I'm not going to say who it is until we eliminate them, but that's just what it is. I'm just kidding, you guys. Love you. You guys should eliminate me first.
Robert.
Hi, Antonio. How are you?
Hi, I feel like I need to be a little tender with you because I don't think you appreciated my talking to you while you were trying to waltz it.
No. Do you want me to talk about my catastrophe of a waltzit? Do you want me to talk about that?
Go for it, yeah.
I'm happy to unpack it. I don't know if you guys saw, but I think when Antonio was on 2, I totally slipped and fell on my ass. And I had to get, I don't know if anyone saw that, but it was mortifying because I did not change into very frictiony pants. And so I was in like a very smooth pair of pants. And like, I was very nervous and my feet got very sweaty and I just totally slipped. I also have no ass. I have no thigh muscles. I have nothing down there. I have 2 little toothpicks for legs. And so I knew that this was definitely going to be my downfall. So I knew I would have to be counting on my team. And so I was just I was very in my head and very insecure. Because I feel like I've been trying to like really come through for my team. And I knew this week it just wasn't gonna happen. I knew it just wasn't gonna happen, but it was a really good ass intervention for me. So that's what I'm carrying forward.
All right, and then Fiona, I'm gonna bring it over to you. Before we get down to the tough and dirty business that we have to get down to. So talk to me about the people on your team. Do you feel like you can talk to me about any maybe alliances that you have, or is there anyone on this team that you feel like you can completely trust?
I definitely think there are some people on my team I can completely trust. I don't think it's to my advantage, to be honest, to tell you that.
But there are some people definitely that I really very much trust Antonio. And I'll say it, like, I mean, Red Scare has been and has always had this intense pride of like who we are. We're scrappy and we're young and we're like, if you will, hungry, not to quote Hamilton.
I was waiting for it.
Yeah, you're welcome. But the thing is, yeah, I mean, we are a team that loves each other, that fights for each other, that cheers each other on, and that are like sometimes a little bit of bullies to the other team, and that happens, and I'm proud of it.
You have the will, and you must summon your will yet again to set one of your teammates adrift from Survivor TTS. So you drill at this point. As I call your name, I would like you to please private message me on the Zoom chat the name of the contestant you feel deserves to be eliminated tonight. We are going to start the vote out with Brett. Next up, Zoe. Next up, Matthew. Then we have Christian, Robert, Fiona, and Jordan. All right, the votes are in. I would like to ask if anyone has an immunity item that they would like to play right now. Please private message me in the Zoom chat that you are using it, either for yourself or for another contestant. All right. It is time to announce the votes. First up, we have a vote for Brett. Next up, Jordan. Then we have Christian. Another vote for Christian. Another vote for Jordan. Another vote for Christian. And a final vote for Christian. That means, I'm very sorry to say, Christian, you have been eliminated from Survivor TTS.
Jordan, I'll see you soon.
Christian, do you have anything else you want to say?
Nope. I think this episode says it all.
All right. Certainly says a lot. Christian, thank you for being an amazing competitor. I'm happy you got to win 4 weeks in a row before you got sent home. Unfortunately, that's the way that Survivor TTS plays out.
Indubitably.
You may now leave the Zoom. Whoo! Tough night doesn't get any easier. That brings us to the conclusion of our 5th elimination of Survivor TTS. Until next time. Tonight's immunity challenge is a game of memory.
Are you fucking serious?
If you guys wanted more screen time, you guys should have lost more.
You're kidding. Yes.
Oh my god.